So we're back in the CycleKart workshop for another build day on the Club Cart, and you can see Dennis has been busy shaping foam for the fiberglass tail and the foam for the fiberglass nose. So we got a few things we're doing today, so let's get started. Okay, so we're working on some suspension geometry. The standard setup has the tie rods angled down a little bit, so they're not quite parallel. So we've got this piece of, it's about 3/8 inch steel, and we're gonna cut it to fit. We're gonna put it underneath this bracket. So we're gonna use the existing bracket and just gonna raise it up. And then I'll get these tie rods parallel to each other, and that'll correct some geometry. We wanna make sure that everything is straight in line with each other and also not angled down, which is what we had before. The tie rod's angled down toward the pitman arm, so we're gonna get them to where at rest they're level. So we're gonna make this little bracket and then use the same bolt, so I might have to use a longer bolt, but to raise that bracket up. So that's what we're doing next. Okay, so Steven made this little 3/8 inch plate, and that's to raise up this attachment point to level these arms. So your results may vary depending on the arch of your spring, may change how much you need to adjust this. You could probably run it without that, but we're putting that in there to get these perfectly parallel. Mark did a great job of engineering all this, but like I said, sometimes the springs are going to be different arches in them. So make your cart work the way you need it to work for your cart. So that's what we're doing here. Anyway, let's put this thing back together. With bolts in here. Okay, so we found a little bit more interference as we go through the travel of the suspension. We want it to bottom out on the tire out here on the pitman arm on the spindle. But what's happening is the tie rod is bottoming out on this bracket. It's actually interfering. So I can adjust it to get rid of that, but it brings it into where everything's not straight anymore, and it creates all kinds of weirdness. So we're trying to get this parallel to the ground and also straight. So anyway, what we're going to take these apart. I'm going to take this off the cart, and we're going to clearance this one side here on both sides, so that this nut on the tie rods does not interfere with these little pitman arms on the steering column. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so I did some grinding and clearancing. Just took a little bit of the webbing out of both sides to clear that nut, or the bolt there that was interfering actually on this right here. So anyway, let's put this back on, see if we get rid of our clearance issues. Okay, that's good. We're bottoming there. We're no longer bottoming here. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so that's a success. All right, good. So fantastic.
All right, so right now I'm removing the foam component from the aluminum rear cover. Got a couple of screws here. So there we go. Now I can work this separate from the car and put the fiberglass on it, and then eventually the foam goes away, leaving just the fiberglass cover attached to the wood frame. So now you can see how the balsa block works. It's a lot more stout than just a piece of foam. Right now there's a couple screws holding it in. I have to reduce its size to allow for the thickness of the fiberglass right here, and I'll do that separately. Later I'll attach this permanently after I get the fiberglass cover brought to it. Okay, so looking at my drawing, my original concept was this width right here was going to be 7 inches, and in the finished piece it's 6.5, so that's pretty close. I can live with that. My idea is to carve out this center section, this line right here. I've got this hacksaw blade. Here's my depth gauge, this piece of tape, so that I'm going to go down 1 inch and carve it all out, and that'll allow space for the grill to drop in after the fiberglass wraps in there. Here you can see what it looks like when it's finished, slightly recessed. So that's the direction I'm heading right now. And I'll just pick out all these pieces, and maybe I'll put a piece of thin wood down in there for the fiberglass to lay against. We'll see. This is 80 grit paper. And here's my depth gauge. So I gotta go down a little bit more.
Rusty on the inside, it's gonna be rusty on the outside. Okay, so we're working on the throttle cable assembly. So previously we cut some holes in the chassis and the seat to run the cable through. The cable runs through the chassis, under the axle, and I've got to attach it just to keep it in one spot. And then when you buy your motor, it's got this little bracket here, and that's designed to hold this little metal part of the cable. You put that in there, you just tighten that down, keep it off the cable itself, but you don't have to over tighten this, but you want it to be snug. I see some guys tighten it down so much it deforms the cable, which clamps the cable on the inside. So, and that goes through this little hole, and there'll be a set screw that goes in here. That's what's going to hold the cable in here. That's what makes your throttle function, right? So this is, once this is screwed down and you pull this cable, that's your throttle. So that's how that works. So we're going to work on attaching that throttle now. The cable, we're going to attach it to the rod we built, which goes up here to your pedal, right? So this rod we're going to have to shorten, and we're going to mount it to the chassis. And so I've got this little piece of 1x2 rectangle tubing. We're going to drill a little tiny hole here. That's for the cable to go through. And this little bullet will stop on that, so that'll go right there, right? And then, actually the other way. And then the other side, we're going to thread that rod and attach that. So as you pull this, it'll pull your cable. So we'll get that working right now. Okay, so I made this little bracket just to have a stop for the cable housing. And I threaded the cable through this little bracket here. And I'm going to cut my rod and then thread it. So I've marked where this is going to be, right here, for example. And so that way when I put this in, I'm going to thread this here so nuts and bolts go on there so that captures this. And this will go back and forth, and we'll put a return spring on here. So, all right, so making some progress. Okay, so we had some good progress today. Got the throttle cable attached. So I had to make a couple different brackets. This one is the third attempt, and I'm going to take this off and smooth it out a little bit, take off the edges. But basically, this just holds the rod. So as the rod goes back and forth, it's got some place to kind of travel without being bound up. And then this is held on with 2 nuts. Right now it's just regular nuts. We'll put nylocks on there later. But you see this is in here loose because there's no spring back there attached just yet. But once we attach the throttle to the motor, that will put tension on that. It has its own return spring. We will need a return spring for the pedal. So what we're probably going to do is drill a hole in this little bracket and attach it to here. We'll put a little weldment on here so that as you push on it, there's a spring here, and that will pull the pedal back. So it returns this part. This spring back here will be returned by the engine return spring. So that's looking pretty good. So this is just a piece of 1x2 steel or rectangle tubing, and really that's just to connect the rod to the cable. Pretty simple. In fact, this thing's trying to walk its way out right now. So put a little bracket here and we'll attach the cable to the side here with some little not nylons, but little vinyl clamps so that's out of the way. So yeah, some pretty good progress. So we're wrapping up our build day today, and I wanted to show you some of my failed attempts at making brackets for the throttle. So there's different attempts at doing this. I tried to do a flat piece and realized I couldn't get it to attach to the bar because there wasn't room to get the tools in there. And then I made this piece and realized it was too small, so I went up a little bit and realized this was not enough metal. Then I'm making a much bigger piece. So anyway, that's that. You know, even when you build cycle cars, there's a lot of trial and error and failure. So even though you're starting off with a built frame, you still have to build a cycle car. There's a lot of work to be done here, guys. So don't fool yourself into thinking this is a bolt together kit. You have to make a lot of stuff, which is good. That's part of the process. So we appreciate you guys watching and following along. And Dennis has had a great day working on the foam. And we patched a hole in one of the tires that we've been struggling with getting air in all 4 tires. So that's been an adventure. What build day are we on, Dennis?
I think it's number 10.
Build day number 10. Okay, so there you go. Thanks for watching. Check out Dennis's channel. We'll see you next time. Get out in the garage and build something cool.